It's March the 12th, 2026. I'm at Joel Pearl, thejoelpearl.com on Blue Sky, and it's time to get in the weeds. A tumultuous Tuesday, but everything works because I'm here. Therefore, the intro works. The fireworks will work. Watch. See it? Wait for it.
It's actually Thursday, by the way.
Did I say Tuesday?
Yes, you did.
Brother, I don't know what day it is anymore. I just don't know.
He's like, I was here on Tuesday. I'm here Tuesday and Thursday. What world are we living in?
I don't know what happened. This week has been so topsy-turvy. People are saying it's Thursday. You telling me it's Thursday. Apparently I said it's Tuesday. In my brain it was said. I thought I said Thursday. I wish it were Tuesday. Then I'd have the rest of the week to get through my life. But instead I'm here. Well, we're here. We did it. And it's me. And it's SP3. And so the dream team is back together. Jeremy Lambert's fine. He's good. Don't you worry. He'll probably pop in at one point if he's available. But he's cool. Don't worry about him. How you doing, pal?
I am doing well. My favorite day of the week to be on this channel is Thursday because we get to talk about some AEW. We get to talk about the world at large. I was just thinking about this before we did the show. I was like, me and Joel don't watch enough of the same TV shows to have like hour-long discussions about not wrestling like me and Jeremy do. Me and Jeremy, we'll except for like South Park. I know you're a South Park fan, so we if there was a new season of South Park, we could have talked about that for an hour and killed some time. But we seem to get a lot of super chats where we're not talking about wrestling. If you saw yesterday's show.
I mean, there wasn't much to talk about in terms of wrestling yesterday anyway. I'm sure like the reason you ended up doing the show was because NXT was awful. And other than that, like there was nothing to really discuss. And then what's his face? AO got the 83 points in the game. And then I was like, well, that's going to change.
Who's AO? Bam, you mean Bam Adebayo?
Yeah, Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo. Fuck, dude.
He doesn't deserve the rest of his syllables. Ayo. I'm
so cooked today, man. It's over. I made the thumbnail. I set up the show yesterday. I did it all. Adebayo.
We totally just need to do a bit where Joel is Dante and I'm Randall, and we're just gonna do Clerks for the first hour of the show, and Joel's just gonna keep saying, "I'm not even supposed to be here today."
Exactly. So like
Joel's gonna go play hockey on the roof of ITW Towers and leave the store open. He's gonna have shoe polish sign saying, "Trust me, we're open."
I'm gonna go and do some go-karting while I listen to Smashing Pumpkins in the background.
Go to someone's funeral. Exactly. I'll knock over the casket or run out. I love that movie. I can talk about. That's one thing I could talk about for an hour. It's Clerks.
And so here's the thing. So like my days and when I hear you guys want to talk about TV, I'm like, I don't watch any TV because I just don't have time. And like my days, like I'm not saying that it's not okay to watch TV. I don't make the time for myself, and that's a me problem more than anything. I just have little things to do throughout the day, whether it's like my kid related or like I have to cook dinner or I have to get out and like do things. I just don't make the time. And then by the time evening comes, well, guess what? I got to watch wrestling because I got to do it I got to talk about it on these shows, and I got to keep up and be knowledgeable. That's honestly, it's one of the detriments of doing a morning show that talks about everything wrestling is that I don't get an opportunity to like pick a lane per se. And the lane that that I've picked on the main channel is TNA, and everybody has their feelings about TNA. So like, I'm just kind of stuck, man. Like my Thursdays could be free, but no, I got to watch TNA and then do a post show. And the only benefit right now is the fact that it airs an hour earlier in Canada. So nothing changed in terms of the timing. And then whenever they do a live show, sucks. So I got to go at 11 o'clock and then talk about the show for an hour and then be like, this sucks. So it's kind of where I'm at. So I don't get a chance to like really, TV to me is not the way I unwind, but I watch a lot of YouTube stuff. People know that I've talked about this on the show before. Like I'll watch a lot of like tech YouTube. I'll watch a lot of like tiny house YouTube or video game stuff YouTube. Like I'll watch different things and I'll just gain knowledge on stuff that I like. But yeah, I don't spend a lot of time watching TV anymore. I'll watch a lot of music stuff. Like I watch a lot of concerts and stuff like that because it's while I'm doing something else, I can also, have something up on YouTube. That's me though.
So tell me this, because you like different genres, and I've said this to Jeremy before. I don't know if I've said this to you. I'm starting to dabble into the music podcast world, and my co-host over on True Hill Heat Sports and Entertainment, Stag King John Martin. He's very versed in music. He used to be like, the whole reason I met him is that he was like a producer. He made beats, and one of my best friends, Steve Stash, was a rapper, and we met when we were in college. And that's how we like connected. Our first time we talked, it was a whole argument, a debate about who's better, 50 Cent or Jay-Z. But he dabbles also into other music because he's actually a musician as well, and he wants to review like different genres outside of hip-hop. So tell me what's like the most anticipated rock albums of 2026. Can you tell me that?
No, I can't, because honestly, I can't, because a lot of my work in music has been playing on other people's stuff. And now that I'm not in the industry, I have my friends that I keep up with and I cheer for. It's like if I left wrestling, I would have my friends in wrestling that I've met along the way, that if they're in the business, if they're in the industry trying to make it, I'd be cheering them on. But I probably wouldn't be as connected as I am right now because it's my job. Yeah. That's the one thing about me. I mean, I suck at monetizing my hobbies in that I do that, and I shouldn't, but I do. That's how I got into this. I monetized the hobby, which was wrestling. And then I suddenly realized like, I'm pretty good at this and I can keep going. Music too. It was the same thing. I was a musician, and then suddenly I was like, I could get paid for this. Let's go. And I did that. I monetized on a hobby. So no, I'm not good at telling you what's the next big anticipated release. I have friends that I can ask about that. My friend Greg in Ottawa is a really like tapped in music guy, and he has a lot of, insight as to who's up and coming. I got friends who are also like, again, in the industry, rep bands, things like that. And I'm like, okay, I can like lean on them if I really want to know. But other than that, no, I pretty much stick to what I'm listening to. And then like the two main podcasts, or at least like, interviews that I listen to stuff with Rick Beato, who's one of like the biggest YouTubers in rock music, and he's a producer, guitar player, like he's done everything. Scott's Bass Lessons, because he talks with a lot of bass players, because I am one too, where like they go through different artists who have done different musical events and life cycles of music, so we talk about that. And Drumeo is another big one. They're the drum channel. Musora is like the major channel that do Drumeo and like singers and guitar players, like how-to channels. And then finally, this is one that I think a lot of people should listen to: The Ongoing History of New Music. And that's a program with Alan Cross up here in Canada. For those in Canada, Alan Cross because he's been in the industry for like 50 billion years. But he's been the guy when it comes to Canadian music and beyond. And he has a podcast that also is a radio show, and the podcast version is a little shorter. It's like 15 to 30 minutes. And he'll do profiles on bands, or he'll talk about like genres. He'll talk about anything that's music related. And he's just really well versed in music and really smart with a great team behind him. So the Ongoing History of New Music podcast is something that I recommend, and it's been around forever. So that's like how I kind of learn and grow with my music too.
I've been so out of like the music loop, especially when it comes to rock music. I could tell you probably my like favorite rock album of all time, and I'm just gonna age myself by saying it. It's the Chocolate Starfish album from Limp Bizkit.
Oh,
That's like I think I could go back and still listen to that and like know most of the songs like just off the top of my head.
If I found my old iPod, I would be listening to like 99% of it. By the time I got to like 2012, maybe 2016, I was starting to like trail off in the search for new music to listen to. I was like, oh, I have listened to so many. Like, I did radio shows back in the day, like listening, like playing actual bands and musicians and interviewing musicians when I was in university, that I got to the point where I was like, yeah, I know all these upcoming artists. I'm good now. And I just didn't start keeping up with it because I started working with bands who were either creating original music, or I was working with cover bands, and I didn't need to learn anything other than what I was supposed to learn. So all my time went into learning the music that I was getting paid to perform. And to me, that was much more important because it was a job. So I never kept up after that.
Makes sense. Yeah, I just know like that generation, like 2000s, 2010s, anything that was like pop a music that be like rock music that became pop music that was played on like the radio. Like I know all the hit songs from like Fall Out Boy and Panic at the Disco and Avril Lavigne. That's my generation of rock music. That's why I was asking to get like some perspective. And I like the fact that the chat is giving me different ones. I did hear about the Gorillaz coming out with a new album, and I
They
found
just
that
did SNL
interesting.
last week.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, they did SNL. It was good too. I mean, listen, they are fun live. I gave one of my old denim jackets to my sister-in-law, who's quite a bit younger than me, and she's traveling, so she needed like oversized jackets. I'm like, well, I don't wear these anymore, and you're much smaller than me, so try these. Inside the pocket of my black denim jacket is a VIP Red Hot Chili Peppers like sticker, and it's a fabric one, so it can go through the wash if it needs to. She looked at it and she's like, when did you see Red Hot Chili Peppers? I'm like, actually, I saw it on your sister, my wife, on her birthday. What? I'm like, yeah. So my good friend calls me up. I'll never forget this. I'm at home. My wife and I are just like hanging out on the couch, and I got a phone call, and my buddy's like, hey, you want to go see Chili Peppers tonight at the Scotiabank Arena? And I'm like, yes. And then I turned to my wife and I'm like, wait, it's your birthday. And she's like, it's fine. It's not really a big deal. Like, she doesn't make a big deal out of her birthday. So I'm like, are you sure? She's like, you can make it up to me later. So I went, and we were side stage watching Flea all night, like watched his guitar tech do all the work. And like, it was really all the work as like keeping his basses up and running, like Flea's still playing his guitars. And yeah, it was just really cool. And then backstage meeting all the guys from the band, and like, it was the weirdest night, but also really fun. But yeah, so my sister-in-law gets that jacket. And I'm like, you never ever take that patch off. You hear me? If I see you and that patch is gone, I'm taking it back and I'm taking you out.
That's not a threat. That's a warning. I love it.
And I see Jules saying, she doesn't like Chili Peppers. That's fine. I get it. I'm not the biggest Red Hot Chili Peppers fan. I think after what came after Californication? Probably
I was literally about to say that. That's the last song for the Chili Peppers that I remember loving.
Stadium Arcadia was probably the last one that I liked, and then this was the album after that one. So there was some stuff that I was like, don't know so well, but I was still tapped into enough that I enjoyed. Like, the show was great. So yeah, I get it. Not everyone loves them, but people are talking about like Ghost, Nightwish, Dimmu Borgir, like they've always been good bands. I've always loved Ghost. I loved Ghost when they came out, like when they started as Ghost BC and before the rebrand, everything. They were fantastic. Nightwish I've loved forever. They've been around since the early 90s. So like I've been tapped in on Nightwish for years, even through like all the stuff with Tarja leaving, and then Annette comes in, and Annette was a bitch, but she wasn't. She's actually kind of nice. And then she leaves, and then Floor Jansen comes in, which I called at the time because Floor was on the tour with them, and she was with After Forever, but After Forever was about to break up. That was like, I was tapped in again. I knew what was going on in metal and what was going on in that style of music. But it's funny that you talk about the fact that like the music that you liked then is starting to make a comeback. You know why, right? Yeah. Are you aware of why?
Why?
How old were you when that music came out?
Like in 2000s, I was in my teens.
And how much money did you have to your name at the time?
Not much.
And now that you are a grown, working, gainfully employed adult, the assumption, at least, is that you have money. And now's the time for them to cash in on the reunion tours. And that's why, like, it is a cyclical business. That's what it is. Yeah. Same thing with like why in wrestling, like wrestlers from the Attitude Era come back and they do that last run. And it's because people want to see them. They want to bring them back, and like the nostalgia's there. And everyone's going to pay to see them one last time. And you remember your childhood, and it makes you feel good. It's what it is. It's all nostalgia.
And it basically brings those people back, and those people by this time have kids, and they show their kids it, and then they become fans, and then the cycle continues. So yeah, exactly. it makes a lot of sense that it's the same thing with music. It's the same thing with like television shows. Like me and Jeremy yesterday were talking about the whole Ted series, which like Ted the movie only came out, I think, like 10, 15 years ago. But like if that. And yeah, let me see. I'm talking out my ass.
You got me looking at it too. 2012. So it's been 15
20,
years.
so yeah, so it's been like 15 years. So like the people that saw it like in their teens are now gainfully employed in their late 20s, and they're now loving it and stuff like that. But apparently not so much, because they're ending it after season 2, coming out with an animated series. The whole point of the Ted TV show and why it's so good is because it's basically live action Family Guy. I don't need a animated version of live action Family Guy.
Yeah.
that is redundant.
Yeah, but AI can make it much cheaper.
Oh God, I hate it.
Well,
I
so
hate AI.
can them outsourcing the animation to like, countries that don't pay well. So there is that. I don't like it either, but that's the shitty reality. Just going back to like my time on cruise ships, a lot of the party bands, the bands that would come on and play like the big parties, that's what I did. But they were starting to pivot towards hiring bands that were coming from countries like the Philippines, because they could pay them less, since the American dollar goes further on the Filipino peso than it does in the US. So instead of having to pay an American or Canadian band, $2,000-$3,000 a month per member, you would have to pay the whole band $2,000-$3,000 a month, and they'd be fine with it, because the money would stretch further back home, where they were mostly sending the money anyway. That's just what happens, and it sucks, but that's how cruise ships are the worst, and that's how they save a lot of money.
God bless you. God bless you working on a cruise ship. I could barely do that when I was doing it day after day for like what was it, 3 years. I was working on commuter. No, what was it? It was basically like a ferry. I was working on the ferry, New York water taxi.
It's
good old days.
It's different though if you're talking about like the movement of the boat and everything, because you got mad stabilizers on a cruise ship.
Yeah, I was working mostly like selling tickets. I was a ticket seller. So I kind of did all the jobs. I even tried to get I was close to getting my license to be a tour guide at one point. But I used to just take advantage of the fact they used to do a party boat every weekend, and I used to get on there for free. This is when I was single and I could meet girls every weekend. It's fun.
And you worked in the hotels for a long time too, right?
Yeah. So I worked in hotels for 5-6 years.
So with that, that's closer to what a cruise ship gig can be for you, because it's a hotel on the water. That's effectively what a cruise ship is, right? You're living in these little cabins, and you have entertainment available and food available, and the only difference is the ship stops in different places and you get off. It's a hotel on the water. You have concierge, people who give you keys. It's the whole thing.
That was the best part about working on a hotel, was the free food. I always tell everybody, like, having free food, and they used to hook it up at certain hotels. I used to like try to get comfortable and make friends at different hotels just for if the food was good. If the food wasn't good, I probably wasn't talking to any of the other employees, because I was a concierge. So I used to work in like different hotels on different days. And even if I really like the food at one hotel, I would like try to get a hotel that's close to that. So during my break, I could just walk over to that hotel and still take advantage of the food. Great times.
That rules.
Park Lane, I'm telling y'all, New York, Park Lane had the best food. Then there was one like near Seaport. I forget the name of it, but man, they used to hook it up. They had like a buffet style food, and they had fountain drinks. Oh my God, it was amazing. Amazing times.
Fountain drinks are underrated, man. Get that.
They really are.
Yeah, it's the best. And again, doing the ship gig, that was one thing that like I was more of a drinker on ships because depression's a real thing, and they don't have any other way to support it, so they get you drunk. But when I wanted like a caffeine hit, it would always be, I'd go to the guys at the bar near wherever I was working, and like they would be like, we can't give you cans, we can only give you from the spout. And I'm like, sure, just do it, just give me the food, give me the drink. And they're like, oh, okay, most people complain about it. I'm like, I don't care. And they're like, I don't care where the water comes from as long as it's clean enough. And they're like, well, that's the thing we can't guarantee. I'm like, well, I'm prepared to make that sacrifice.
Hey, this is the sacrifice you're supposed to take here.
I'm still here, so clearly we're okay. Speaking of which, you're still here. It's 20 minutes in, so leave a thumbs up on the video. If you haven't already, what's wrong with you? There's the fireworks I promised earlier. And you can also donate a super chat any amount, get your question or statement read on the air. And of course, subscribe to us here on Fightful Overbooked. Plenty of stuff coming at you every single day, whether it's us doing this show, whether it's Rob and Maggie on Fridays, whether it's the Spotlight with Jeremy and Jensen, or whether it's literally SP3 just showing off whatever threads he's wearing today.
That's a Stranger Things shirt. Hellfire Lives.
See,
shout outs to Dustin.
When things are popular, I don't watch it.
I try to always get hip to it. Even before I started reviewing TV shows, I used to, the pandemic was a lot of different TV shows that I got onto if they were popular. But no, I think I mainly watch this with my missus, Stranger Things.
That makes sense.
Missus is into stuff like that.
Ryan Lambert reminding us, happy Friday the 13th. Tomorrow is Friday the 13th. We're also planning to have Stu Grayson, Mystery Wrestling Champion, on the show. Going to be talking to him about Mystery Wrestling, his match with London Lightning coming up, and plenty more. I think Jeremy has some, maybe was it some food or marble related questions for him. Jeremy will remember. He wants to make Stu angry. Last time I made Stu angry, it wasn't even me who made him angry. Someone walked in front of our shot at an interview, and he just went off on that person. It was very funny.
Nice.
And then afterwards, the guy was like, "I'm so sorry," and he's like, "That's fine." I was like, "Oh, you are like me. It was fine." Anyway,
it's all fine.
That's right. Draw saying K-pop became popular in the U.S. lately too. Yeah, blame that damn Demon Hunters show.
Oh yeah, K-pop Demon Hunters. Yeah,
dude, these 4-year-olds are obsessed, and I'm like, why are y'all watching this? This is not for y'all. This is not a kid show. And all these. Dude, I'm sorry. I'm gonna say it. If you're a parent and you're showing your, okay, hold on. Before I say this, are you showing your kids the show?
Oh no.
Okay, great.
No, my daughter's 6 and she still watches the stuff that she was watching when she was like a baby.
God bless. That's good parenting. If you're a good parent, you ain't watching that shit with your kids. You ain't showing K-pop Demon Hunters to your kids. What are you doing? Amazing stuff. Hearing about that, and it's like, oh, but they have older siblings. I'm like, great, sequester them. Let your iPad kid watch it somewhere else. Ain't doing this now. But my kid's like, oh, I love the show. And I'm like, you've never seen the show. What are you talking about?
The most age-appropriate things or not age-appropriate things my kids watch. My son watches Spidey and His Amazing Friends, which I think is the medium of like Marvel content for him to watch. And then my daughter will watch New Japan Pro Wrestling, but she doesn't want me to watch it with English commentary. She wants me to put on Japanese. She loves hearing the Japanese language. Okay, honestly though, I don't blame her because the Japanese commentary is better. I mean, yeah. So like, I don't blame her either. I'd be like, you know what? You give me a reason to listen to Japanese.
No shade to Walker Stewart. He's fantastic at what he does. Don't get me wrong, but like, come on, how good is that? The Japanese commentary just has that level of emotion that you don't get in English with anything. Doesn't matter who it is. The Japanese style is just better. You don't understand it, but you get the emotion.
Even Jimmy is enjoying it because we've been watching older New Japan matches for Gold Match Series on the True Hill Patreon, patreon.com/True Hill Heat. And we've been watching older Tanahashi and Okada matches. And Jimmy gets a pop out of the one announcer who always says, hi, 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 hi.
That's just acknowledgement.
yes. It's basically yes in Japanese.
Ryan asking for getting a poll today. I don't have the stream shown. I got StreamYard, but I don't have the actual stream to do a poll. Jeremy can get all angry about that later.
Oh no!
Should I just make up a poll? All right, here.
Yeah, you should just make one up.
Fine. You people are monsters. Wanting your polls and your super chats read. Send us your money. Where is this? Where's our show? Hey, live tab. And I got to open it and hope that the audio doesn't bleed through, but it will.
Oh no!
Bled through. Now I got to do it. Okay. Where do I poll? Engage with my audience. Let's start a poll. What's the question? Should press conferences start before midnight Eastern? Yes
or no?
No. Option 3. catch AEW.
Oh no, it should be
Revolution.
who should moderate the AEW press conferences? Bryan Danielson, Renee Paquette, RJ City, or Tony Khan?
Who should? There we go. Who should moderate AEW press conferences from now on?
Hey, there was never a fight on RJ City and Renee Paquette's.
It's true. It's true. Keep that in mind as you think about the answer to this question. Oh man. Yes, Mikey V. The joke was that it started at 10 p.m. Eastern instead of midnight when you watch a pay-per-view, which normally it starts at 1 a.m. Eastern. So there you go. Mm-hmm. Okay, where are we now? Okay, who should it be? Tony Khan, Bryan Danielson, maybe with a zero. Is he Brian with a Y? Yeah, he's Brian with a Y.
Yeah, he's Brian with a Y.
My dad was Brian with an I, so that's why I always get tripped up. RJ City, Renee Paquette. Okay, now we know. There's your poll. Start answering, and I'll finish it when I finish it. There you go.
Let us know, people.
Now Jeremy can't get on me about doing polls or not. Yeah,
you did your job, sir. You did your job.
Screw you, a rare beast. Why did I hold on? So this is the problem, Will. I can't let the Dynasty post-show press conference end later than 11:30 East or 11:30 Pacific because I got a flight to catch. So I'm planning to go to Vancouver and basically tell Tony and the PR team, hey, Judy.
It's like I gotta go.
Front row with my camera, with my microphone, just be like, come on, let's go. So my watch is going nuts because I keep tapping it.
I love it.
Oh man! All right, now I got to put up a banner for you mongrels. Let's go. Here, you know what? I got this. Vamp for a second.
Vamp. All right. We got a lot to discuss on today's show. A jam-packed episode of AEW Dynamite.
Don't lie to the people.
With the go home show to Revolution. We're going to be discussing that. There was some big news coming out of WWE Evolve. Yes, I am breaking my own C-suite band, and we will be touching on that. We won't be going in depth or giving you a review of Evolve. I'm still keeping to my word with that, but we should discuss that. We also got David Finlay and Gabe Kidd, Clark Connors, the Dogs, talk to multiple people. Our very own Sean Rossap, talk to WrestleZone, talk to Vice, and of course talk to myself for the takedown on Sports Illustrated. They had a lot to say, including David Finlay burying his own family. I guess he's just fitting in with the CM Punk Roman Reigns feud. And then Will Ospreay news from our very own Fightful Select, the best however amount of money it is right now in the game on Patreon. So we're going to discuss all those things. And of course, it's a Thursday, so you know what that means. We got best matches. And like I said on Monday, I will have 10 matches that you should watch from the past week since last Thursday.
It's a lot of matches, Jesus.
I watch a lot of matches. I'm giving you the abbreviated version. By the time we get to Saturday for the True Hill Heat flagship podcast, I'll probably get up to 20.
Wow. Well, here's your banner. Why it's gonna ticker?
You put it as a banner, not a ticker.
Can I just tick? Is that good? Now will it work?
Let me see. I'm gonna help you.
Hold on. Oh, I know what it is. I gotta edit this. Gonna make it a scroll. All right, I got it. You monsters, all of you. There. All right. There we go. Stupid people making me do this stuff.
Yeah, I don't trust these people. So I'm gonna blow my nose. So I'm gonna cut my camera off. I don't want people to think I'm doing stuff that they think Sean Rossap is doing.
Why would anyone think that?
They know how to edit videos, AI and everything. Oh,
I hate that. So that's fine. AEW podcast, we're ready, I promise. You gotta switch that photo out. I love it. Oh, yes, we got plenty to talk about. SP3 and I get to talk about AEW Dynamite today. And you know what? It'll be a fun show to talk about because there was enough that went on. And Revolution is coming up on Sunday. It'll be a really, really fun show to look forward to. A little, it's not worried or concerned. It's not even that. It's just like you've got a really hot main event and then it kind of runs away with the show. It's definitely built on that main event, and the undercard is good, but I don't know if it's like as up there as this main event. Maybe did they keep too much on it, or is this the right amount? Revolution's always a big show, so I think the vibe is just that it's almost like a just trust the system kind of vibe, that it's going to be a big show, and you just gotta go in knowing that like you got good heat for the matches, but the main event is what you want to really pay attention to. And the surprises will come along the way. So just your general thoughts as we kind of move towards Revolution.
I think the card is stacked. And the one big note that I think that they did with this card is, once again, we're tying the record for AEW, where they have announced, I think it's like 12 matches, but we have 4 women's matches, which would tie the record with the main card and 0 Hour. They have 4 women's matches. That ties the record from AEW Wrestle Dream that also had 4 women's matches. But we got 3 matches on the main card, 2 title matches, and then a grudge match, everyone banned from ringside. So I'm really liking what AEW has done, building out the card for this coming Sunday in Los Angeles. And it's a card that feels like it has no misses on it. I think that at the bare minimum, all the matches on the card will be good, but at the well, they technically, guys, they didn't announce the what is this? Big Boom AJ matchup. They didn't announce that. So officially there's 12 matches on the card. They'll randomly say Big Boom AJ and someone versus someone as well to make it 13. So yes, 3 matches on 0 Hour and 10 matches on the main card. I'm really looking forward to the main event, like you said, but I think the tag team title match has been built very well and better. I feel better about a lot of these matches than I initially felt about them when it looked clear those were going to be the matches. Like, coming out of Grand Slam Australia, I was kind of like, we're doing Hangman and MJF again. But I will say the stipulation for Hangman never getting another shot at the AEW World Championship was a sublime decision by AEW in a very big way. It's gotten a lot of interest, a lot of intrigue into the matchup and the result and everything they've done to build that up. FTR and the Young Bucks, when that was first made and the Young Bucks became #1 contenders, it just felt like, we're doing this match again. But now it actually feels like more than who's the greatest tag team of all time. It's about the grudge that has been developed ever since FTR attacked the family. I think Tekla and Chris Statlander have over delivered in their 2 previous matches, and I expect them to do the same on Saturday. I think the 2 non-title matches, 2 of the main non-title matches on the card with Swerve and Brody King, I thought they've done a good job of developing that feud over the last couple of weeks. And Andrade and Bandito haven't had much story to tell. It's just been about, we're going to put 2 of the best wrestlers in the world in the ring together, and they're probably going to try to steal the show. And then all the other matches that they've had have had a little bit of story and angles to build it up. So I'm really looking forward to Revolution.
So you said 10 on main and 3 in the pre-show?
Yeah.
Okay, just double checking, because at one point I was counting it up and I got all mixed up, but we're good. Yeah, 10 on main, 3 on the pre-show. Who is Big Boom going to face? That is really the biggest question that we can ask right now. Who is it? Yes. Is it a tag match? Is it a singles match? Is it QT and Boom getting back together, Boom and Doom versus MXM? Maybe Johnny Wrestling gets his bald ass in the ring as he's been wanting, complaining on CVV, being like, I don't think I'm being used to my full potential. To which TK is like, go get a squash. And that'll be it.
Here, you can versus you and MXM versus Big Boom, QT, and who's the random babyface they could throw with them? I don't know. They need 21 people for the Blackjack Battle Royal. So.
Honestly, they might just put Big Boom AJ in the Blackjack Battle Royal, and that's it.
Yeah. See. So I would be right, and you guys would be wrong.
I wouldn't.
If they just throw them in there.
I see the Rizzler versus Minoru Suzuki.
Oh, I'm here for it.
Let's
Give
go.
me that.
The return. It'll be El Clone coming to join the Boom and Doom. It's time for his big babyface turn. Then Hologram comes back and he's the heel. We'll do a double turn.
Oh, they do the rematch with Roppongi Vice. It's Roppongi Vice and El Clone versus Big Boom AJ, QT Marshall, and I don't know who else is feuding with the Don Callis family. Everybody's feuding with the Don Callis family at this point.
I mean, what's Paul White up to? Paul's always protecting the Rizzler. Maybe it's time Paul White gets in there and, socks a few jaws with his WMD fist.
That's his little buddy. That's his mini-me.
You think he's going to be out there with them? God, I love it when he does it. It's the funniest stupid bit we've got.
It's great. Great stuff. Sign me up.
Oh, man. Lance Archer versus Big Boom AJ. I wouldn't hate it, honestly. And I'm sure Lance Archer would have fun with that.
Yeah.
Shout out to
that seems legit.
Yeah, exactly. So here's the thing. Hold on, where was it? War Dogs versus the Costco fan. That's what I was hoping for. Just to see the reaction of Clark Connors, David Finlay, and Gabe Kidd being put not only on the pre-show, but then having to face Big Boom AJ and 2 children. We signed up for this. Yes, you did. You get what
I'm calling them the War Dogs, guys.
You're
they
right.
explained to me that was one of the key questions I had to ask when I interviewed them, and they firmly explained they don't want to be the War Dogs anymore because they don't want any of that yin going back to New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Right. They want the Unbound Dogs. That's what they should call them.
Yeah. Unbound Dog. No, they were not happy when I asked them about that.
Dog Company.
They were like, David Finlay explaining that, saying like, oh, this guy's like, oh, we should come up with a name for a collaboration. And he's like, oh, it should be, Yoda Suji's like, oh, it should be this. And I was like, well, that's lame, but whatever. He's like, got to make some merch money. But then he says, Bullet Club is dead. It's over in Japanese. Like, it was funny because he's explaining it, and then Clark Connors out of nowhere just says in Japanese. He's like, yeah, I didn't even figure it out until after.
That rules.
Oh man, those guys are great. Gabe Kidd was trying to bust my balls the whole time. You'll see the interview is dropping on SI's YouTube channel.
And we did one. Sean did one with them yesterday. That's airing, I think, on today as well. I got to watch it as it was happening. I know he played the clip on the AEW post show, but y'all have to see this. David Finlay is doing the interview from his iPad, and he's got one of the newer iPads that has center stage, so the camera tracks whoever he's talking to. And so the whole start of the interview is just the camera randomly zooming in on other members who aren't talking. They're all just getting more frustrated as they're trying to but the interview's so good because they stick with it and they're heels and they can do whatever they want. It's such a funny and stupid video. You'll see it and you'll laugh because not only is the interview great, but just that moment where the camera keeps going off on them, they just go off on the camera afterwards. It's very good stuff.
Yeah, all of them except for Clark. Clark confirmed that he did say that I'm his dog for real when he was on In the Weeds. So I tried to get clarification that I am a dog from Gabe Kidd and Finlay, and they just said you gotta go out drinking, you gotta try to outdrink Drilla Maloney, you gotta bust some people open, and then maybe I was like, can I just be your spokesperson? It's like, as long as you're always bigging us up on anything you do. So I am affiliated. I can't say that I am a dog anymore. I am affiliated with the dogs.
You're dog adjacent.
I'm dog adjacent.
I'm really excited to call you dog adjacent SP3.
Dog adjacent SP3. That is totally. I need to change my headline. I am dog adjacent now.
People are going to think the wrong things out of that. Is this a racist thing? No. No. You just don't get it. Puppy?
Dog adjacent.
Amazing.
Dog adjacent SP3.
Volv sends a super chat saying, yo, Danielson was really looking like he was ready to throw down in that fight too. So Dynamite, it ends rather, I mean, I'll say surprisingly, because they had the press conference that they had promoted between MJF and Hangman Adam Page. Nobody really knew what the presentation was going to be like until it was live on the air, or at least recorded, shown to the audience, whatever it was, because members of our friends who are in media were part of it. And they were given questions to ask, and Hangman and MJF got to answer based on those questions that were asked, and it was a very good segment in a bottle for what they were accomplishing. It turns into a fight, and MJF and Hangman fight into the crowd, and then that's how Dynamite finishes off with with MJF running off as Hangman almost got him with the barbed wire board. He almost got the dead eye on him from the top to the bottom. I almost called it the fade to black because that's what Frankie Kazarian calls it because of TNA. So anyway, you got MJF running off, and afterwards Hangman cut the promo and said, "I'm going to beat your ass." Sent the crowd home happy, which wasn't really the end of the night because of the collision tapings, but it's not important. Don't worry about it. Don't ask questions. The placement of this segment to me fell off, and I see other people in the chat agreed with me and others don't, and that's fine. And that's why I said this was a polarizing end, because in a bottle, in my opinion, this worked really well. In terms of placement, not only did it start, but it started after 10 o'clock, which is the new thing that Tony seems to be getting into, which is starting his main events after the show is slated to end. Good or bad, that's still up in the air, but it was the placement of it, to me, felt awkward, and it just made the show kind of feel like it screeched to a halt. And that was the main event segment. I'm curious about your thoughts on the closing press conference and obviously the fight that finished off Dynamite between Hangman and MJF.
Yeah, I like something that's unique, and something I like when wrestling companies try something new and not kind of like derivative. Like I said yesterday about the whole Seth Rollins synchronized dancing. I had people that told me that's creative, and I was like, no, it's derivative of like Retribution and the Dark Order angle from December 2019. The only difference is it had synchronized dancing in a shell game. This was unique because this is something that I think would have worked perfectly in like the pandemic. But like, you can't do a whole show where it's like boom, bam, boom. You're doing angles, you're doing big time matches, these shows stealing high impact, fast paced action throughout the night. And like you said, then slow down the show to a halt, and then they got to look at a screen. So this was bad placement. I don't think it was good execution as well, because they had the mics, the live mics on, the crowd mics on. That was like, don't do that. Like, if you're going to play a video, if it's pre-taped, and just play the video and play the pre-tape and then let it segue nicely into the brawl like you did. But they executed this very poorly. So I think it was a cool idea that could have been so much better. And like, yeah, there was like boring chants, there was boos, there was BS chants throughout the whole thing. And I think that what they got across, I think they could have done it in front of the fans as well. I think that would have probably been better. Like doing it where the whole point of the segment was for MJF to needle Hangman and basically create that moment again where Hangman made this challenge for MJF to put his future as an AEW World Champion on the line, where he's not going to challenge for the AEW World Championship ever again if he loses on Sunday. And it was to needle it and basically get in Hangman's head and have him think, who is he without the AEW World Championship? Who is he if he never gets another shot at the AEW World Championship? And have that look of doubt that came to Hangman when that final question was asked. You could have done that in front of the fans. You could have done that in the middle of the show, and I think it would have gone off a little bit better. You could have done that without the crowd mics on as well. There was so many other ways that you could have done it. So I think it was a good idea, yet they didn't execute it the best that it could have been.
I'm trying to think of how you could have done it differently, other than make it earlier in the night if you want to present it the exact same way you did it. To me, that's the only way it gets away with like not killing the crowd entirely, and you can still bring them back up for the main event, which was, they did Dem Bucks versus Ciampa and FTR. So like you can still bring them back by the time they get to the last match. So my question is like, how do you frame it differently if you keep it as the main event slot and you put it in front of the crowd? I think it was Henry talking about how they did it during COVID, right? That was MJF and Moxley. I think they did it. And then there was Jericho and Orange Cassidy. They did that one too. That was the going into Mimosa Mayhem and all that stuff.
I think that was the debate. Yeah, they did a debate with Eric Bischoff. Yeah.
So they've done a couple of those things where they've had people come out onto the stage and ask the questions. The problem of doing it this time is if you had the same people asking those questions, most people didn't know who the people asking the questions were. They weren't famous, they weren't famous wrestling or just famous stars coming out. Like they did it with Conrad, they did it with Eric Bischoff. They have recognizable faces. And there's no slight at Denise or Baby Huey or Chris. Was it Chris from Self-Made? Who did the last
from Self-Made.
So those guys,
which everybody thinks is just Ibu under a different name.
Well, maybe you should just watch Self-Made. Anyway, it's more than one black dude on Self-Made. Just putting it
exactly.
So, anyway, you can't put those guys and girls in front of a camera with a microphone because the reaction is not going to be the same as bringing out the more recognizable faces from wrestling's past and whatever people know about the present. So how do you present it differently if it's still going to be in the main event slot and it's going to be in front of the audience? Do you have somebody lead the press conference, as in like Danielson asked the questions? Danielson can get away with asking a question like, who are you without the title? Because he's seen it and he's lived it. So you could do someone like Danielson because he's the most connected non-wrestler involved in the match.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who else.
And he has history with both guys.
Yes, exactly.
That part of it worked, having Brian there. Or it could have been like basically like Brian's reading out the questions from the media. They could have done that in the ring, and just Brian says, "Oh, we have a question from Baby Huey who says this. We have a question from Denise Salcedo." They had Dave Meltzer in the front row, and Dave Meltzer couldn't ask a question. Like,
but this is the whole thing about why this was very clearly a planned segment. And Dave isn't going to be one who's like, yeah, give me a pre-written question to be part of the show. Dave's journalistic integrity relies on him not being part of the show and reporting on what happens on the show. So like, I understand why he's not part of it. Whereas like everyone else there is media adjacent and they don't call themselves reporters. They are, I'm not picking on Baby Huey, but I know Baby Huey as a guy who is also a radio DJ in the San Francisco area. So like for him, he does wrestling interviews, but he's an on-air personality. Denise will tell you she is an on-air personality. She is a host. She's not a wrestling reporter. She doesn't do scoops and stuff like that. So she presents differently compared to what Sean might do. Sean might not want to do something like this if the questions are given to him in advance, because then he doesn't get to ask the questions he gets to ask. Same with Meltzer. So and Dave being there was not wild. Like he lives in the San
area. He's in the San Jose area. Like when you find out where the show is, that just makes sense that Dave is there.
It was very funny this week. Brian Alvarez took his kids to Raw and Dave goes to Dynamite, and I feel so bad for Brian.
Yeah, I was like, oh damn, Brian got the short end of the stick here.
Oh man, look who's here. Jeremy Lambert is here. Oh, I got you.
Hello, Jeremy Lambert, Fightful Overbooked in the Weeds. This is a question for SP3. Are you still mad at Eric Spoelstra?
Yes, my headline before I became dog adjacent SP3, talking about my interview with the dogs, which you, Jeremy, have not covered because there's been a million interviews with the dogs throughout the last 24 hours, but way to look out for a friend. But anyway, I'll answer your question. Spoelstra is still an NBA terrorist.
Okay, question for Joel Pearl. Hi, still Jeremy Lambert from Fightful Overbooked.
I still Jeremy
in the Weeds. Why do you hate AEW?
Well, that's a very good question. Still Jeremy from Fightful. I would like to counter with a question of my own. If you are still Jeremy, does that imply the existence of static Jeremy?
That is also a great question. What is existence really? Because what I am hearing is that we all exist. We all live this life that we live. We all exist sometimes within our own world, but what makes this world so great is the interaction that we have with everybody. And if you sit down and you really think about things and you really dive deep into the interactions that we all have with each other, we are all existing with each other in this world.
Question, SP3 of True Hill Heat, Fightful Overbooked.
Wait a minute, you're a subject.
Fightful Overbooked, the takedown on Sports Illustrated, where else? Wrestle Talk. I have a question for Jeremy. Jeremy, what are you without In the Weeds?
That's a really great question, SP3. Let me tell you about In the Weeds. This is a show that started about 4 or 5 years ago, give or take, as this idea for a morning show, right? And for this morning show, I was like, you know what? It's kind of like Dan Patrick's show, I think. And so I talked to Dan Patrick, actually. I pitched this whole thing to Dan Patrick, and I said, Dan, what do you think about this? A wrestling morning show. And Dan said, I don't know who you are. Please stop emailing me, but good luck with your little show. And I said, thanks, Dan. And then I messaged my friend Joel Pearl. I said, Joel, what do you think about this? And Joel came up with these terrible names for the show. And then I was like, how about this name for the show? I said, In the Weeds. And Joel was like, damn it, that's a great name for the show. I said, thanks, Joel. Let's do this. Let's do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every single weekday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, which is almost every single weekday. But every single week, we're going to do this show. And Joel said, all right, damn it, I'm in. And then we got Deonna Purrazzo as our first guest ever on this show. And it started off really hot with Deonna Purrazzo, and it's been all downhill from there. But we have had great guests over the years. We've had
Kip Sabian.
Great guest over the years. You know what I mean? And then last year we expanded. We expanded to do every single weekday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every single weekday, because I love this show so much that I wanted to do every single weekday of this show. And we brought on a great host. His name is SP3. You might know him, SP3. He's a fantastic host. He does the show every Tuesdays and Thursdays. No one reviews matches like SP3. We're really blessed to have SP3 as part of the team. He's one of the greatest contributors ever to In the Weeds. And SP3 and I go back a long time ago. We were doing basketball podcasts together. We were doing reality television show podcasts together. We were just doing a bunch of nonsense podcasts together, and we were like, let's just bring that to In the Weeds. Let's pretend we're going to talk about wrestling on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but instead actually do the podcast we were previously doing, and then just make that In the Weeds. And SP3 was like, damn it, I'm in as well. And then we continue to have great guests on this show. Great guests like And we've done such a strong show every single year, and I think we're really on a run of strong shows. Our ratings are up, our viewership are up, our super chats are up, all of our numbers across the board are up, and up, and it's up, and it's up, and it's up, and you beat the pussy up, and it's 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 up. And everything's up, and we're just consistently been one of the greatest shows, arguably the greatest morning show on television. People like Tony Khan love and respect what we do here on this show, because we do it even on holidays. Thanksgiving, we are doing this show, and Tony Khan loves and respects things like that. They loves and respects what In the Weeds does, because we really are the greatest morning show in the world. Fuck Busted Open. Thank you for the question.
During this time, a tones and alarm will sound throughout the building.
Fire alarm.
I thought he was raising his hand to ask a question.
I didn't know what he was doing.
May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? This is Lifeline Fire Production. We are currently conducting your annual deficiencies.
Annual deficiencies.
During this, alarms and tones will sound throughout the building.
Oh, great. Tones throughout the building.
None of this sounds good.
Just a test.
I'd love to, but unfortunately...
Testing will be conducted from the hours of 9 to 5.
Oh, all friggin' day, huh?
9 to 5. Jeez.
9 to 5. Jeez.
Great time considering I have two shows today. Luckily, one falls after 5, and I have therapy today, so I got that to look forward to.
Nah.
Congrats.
Thanks, fire people. Wasting my time. No, I don't have a question. I've asked my question. Ridiculous.
Well, thank you for a great press conference. I'll continue to take questions, though. I want to make sure everybody gets their question in. You know, we had a great first hour of this show, even though I didn't see any of it, but I know it was a great first hour of the show, and I want to make sure everybody gets their question here. You know, a lot of people traveled for a very long time, very far away, and we just appreciate the great media that is here every single time to cover the show. A lot of you guys have been here since the very first show, and we really appreciate that you've stuck with us for this long. You know, we couldn't do this show without our great fans and without our great media, so I want to make sure that, you know, everybody has a chance to get their question answered. Thank you.
What's funny about all this is I could use that against Tony in Vancouver. You're right. Some people did travel a long way, and some people have flights to make. Come on, let's go. Come on. See how that works.
Because Joel is a coward and won't do this show 5 days a week.
5 days a week. Y'all are gonna get into basketball, and I'm gonna sit in there like a Carlos Silva.
You're gonna smile. You're gonna smile and be like, smile and nod.
Like an idiot.
I couldn't talk hoops on Tuesday because I was Joel doesn't know what's going on here. That's unfortunate.
It's fine. You got Wednesday. You got a whole ass show of
the whole show was
we got like 10 minutes of NXT.
NXT for
about as good as NXT was maybe 10 minutes of chatter.
We
just talked about Lainey Reed and Sol Ruka. That was the only good thing on the show, really.
Great. Glad they did it. Other than that show was not much.
I know you guys had dissenting opinions on the press conference. I assume you've already talked about this.
So
I think we've come to like more of a understanding where like that my whole thing, what Joel said yesterday in our chat was the never again tagline, and I was like, no, this is something that can work. They just did it poorly. That was my whole thing.
See, I'm not the person to comment on this because I think all press conferences should be abolished, and we definitely don't need it on the weekly television show.
Yeah, but you can't chant "fuck" press conferences, okay?
I did like your headline that the press conference airs before midnight. That was very good. But yeah, I don't want any press conferences, so I definitely didn't want this during this show. I think they can do it again. You gotta put it in front of the crowd, or at least dead the crowd, so we can't hear.
We have to choose a lane. Choose a lane.
So this was kind of the not even disagreement, but the conversation was, it was good presentation, wrong placement, and the ways that they could have changed it could have made it better, but there was no real way to make it still a press conference. It would have to be Bryan Danielson interviews both men in the ring, because the questions that were being asked, which were from AEW, like they were feeding the questions to the people on air or who were doing the in the media, those questions only sound good from either those people from media or Bryan Danielson in a sit-down setting. And you could have done it in the ring and done it like that and then did the brawl, and it would have been just as effective in the ring with people. But if they wanted to have the media setting, they had to do it that way, because in the backstage, I mean, because they don't have heavy hitters coming out to ask questions that are going to be recognized by the crowd like they did during the pandemic, when they had like the Eric Bischoffs and the Conrad Thompsons and the people who are visibly who are in front of wrestling fans. So there was presentationally, they didn't really have much else to do if they wanted to do press conference style.
I don't like press conferences. I don't need press conferences, and doing like kind of just like the kayfabe answers with obviously that's what they were going to do, but you know, like, all right, do we have to do this at all?
it's in their show. Like that's the whole thing. It's within at least it's within the confines of their regular program. And so this is the other thing. This is where I think maybe Tony was getting cute, was the idea that he did it after Dynamite was over, quote unquote, so he could make it look like it was part of the after show and it was all real. Like there's a little level of getting a little too cute with it. And if that's the case, I could have done differently. But the way they were presenting it was still a kayfabe idea. It just wasn't necessarily the right way of doing it, presenting it.
Yeah, I like that they like tried something different with it. I mean, it's not like the a press conference is fully like different. As SP3 and I talked about yesterday, like NXT did this a while ago, and yeah, at least theirs was something. Like that sucked too, honestly. At least the Hangman and MJF like brawled in front of the crowd and all of that stuff. But I just don't.
They at least had the sense of mind to cut the crowd mic, though.
Yes,
that's the one thing that they did better than AEW. They cut the crowd mic on theirs.
Yeah. That's my whole thing again here is like, if you're gonna do it again, cut the crowd mic so they can't hear it, or we can't hear the crowd, because it's not for a live crowd, right? Like nobody in that audience wants to sit there and watch a press conference. Like honestly, that was the biggest miss to me, is like, if you're going to do it, like doing it in front of a live crowd makes some sense, but then you worry about like, all right, are people going to start yelling stuff? Are people going to, especially if it's like, hey, bring it down to a silence type thing. Like you just don't know how that's going to work with that. But if you're putting this on the television show, it's not for a live crowd. It's a backstage thing, because it's not even a backstage like interview, which you know is only going to go a few seconds and then you move on. Like this is a main event segment on the go home show for Revolution. Like it was a swing and a miss. I didn't like fully hate it or anything, because at least they saved it with the brawl at the end, but the overall concept, or not necessarily the concept, but the execution of the concept of the plan was a swing and a miss.
Yeah, I largely agree.
Yeah.
That's all that to say, no longer do this ever again.
All that to say, never do press conferences, period. Like ever. Like ever. I don't want to ever see a press conference on the show, after the show, before the show. Next time Tony's going to hold a media call during Dynamite.
No, it's going to be him sitting in the ring with a phone.
Yeah.
Jeff, who's next?
Vadim?
Just go to Jonathan Alba.
Oh, okay. I know your work.
They do a media call during Dynamite. Like Jesus, we don't need to do this at all.
Like I said, I agree with most of the criticism to the press conference, but I don't think it took anything away from MJF and Hangman. I think that this is, like Joel said earlier, like the most compelling and intriguing matchup going into Sunday, as it should be, because it's the main event of the show. It has the most interesting result that's going to have ramifications on AEW moving forward. They've done good promo work before this, and I think that they did get to the crust of what they were trying to accomplish with the Hangman final question and his reaction to it, and then the brawl that ensued after was a stronger way to close the show than just doing the press conference and ended it there.
Yeah, if they just ended the press conference with like nothing, that would have been a real downer of things. But I think they could have just done something similar in the ring, and then it would have been probably better on this. Yeah. So
you could have taped a match for Collision while they aired that to the live crowd. Like squash, just get them in and out.
Well, yeah, I mean, in a way.
Standby match.
Yeah, standby match.
This is stupid.
Which we joked about SP3 yesterday. You were like, I don't know if they're going to add anything else to this. I'm like, they're going to have a standby match. They just they have to have a standby match.
This was more egregious than I think a lot of other standby matches, because usually they can make it up by saying, oh, this match that was supposed to go like 20, 30, 60 minutes, it fell short. No, they literally did a title match that had a 20-minute time limit that went about 18 minutes or 19 minutes, and they still did a standby matchup right after it. It was hilarious.
And the match before that had gone like 15-16. So it's like there's no reason to have said, oh, the pace is off. Let's do a standby match. It literally should have been Brody in his gear. The guy bumps into him, was like, watch where you're going. And Brody just being like, what did you say? And it just becomes a match. Easy as that. Yeah. Something stupid like that. But instead it was, nope, standby match, because that's the Brody gimmick for now. It was very funny and very stupid at the same time.
I could be wrong, because as Joel and SP3 know, I watched the show, but my attention was kind of elsewhere throughout the show. Was there no Thekla and Statlander on this show? Like, no video?
No, they're gonna be on Collision.
Okay.
They've done. This is the thing. Like, going into this show to Revolution, they really have split the card from the Collision and Dynamite side of things. Like, there are certain matches that have been primarily set up through Collision that, like, for better or worse, you need to be watching Collision to understand why are Timeless Tony Storm and Marina Shafir match. Like, I get it. This is the women's world title match. The women's world title story has been mostly featured on Collision this round. Like, Thekla keeps coming out and talking her shit, and like,
Thekla won the title on Dynamite.
It's because you go from the B show to the A show to the pay-per-view. We know how this works.
Okay, but like, I'm not asking for the world. I just wanted a video package.
No.
Yeah, they could have played a video package. They definitely could have done that.
Remember, Jeremy, there are no video packages in AEW, except now that there are video packages in AEW.
I guess so. But that's like, era Thekla and Statlander video package instead of this fake standby match, because I know they wanted to do the whole Brody and Swerve like segment. Like, I get that, and so that is what led to this, and that's what set it up. So sure, but I mean, that's also on Collision. So why did this segment need to be on Dynamite if they were doing that?
Because Collision? Jeremy, they wanted to tune into AEW Collision live on TNT. Is it on Saturday at the regular time, or is it being bumped
Saturday? No, it's on Saturday.
Okay. There you go. It's Saturday at the regular time that they air, whatever that is, 8:00. Sure, why not?
I would have at least had a video package. That's all.
Listen, I have a much more important question, and we were trying to get to the bottom of this earlier. Jeremy, where is Big Boom going to be slotted into this show?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
SP3 kind of came to the conclusion that I agree with. Put him in the Blackjack Battle Royal.
Oh, should win, though.
I mean, sure. I don't damn, let's go with it. Like, at the end of the day, they're not doing anything with Big Boom to build to the show. He just happens to be in LA, and he just said on a friggin' Instagram live stream, I'm going to be wrestling at the show. There's been no publicity for Big Boom coming in. They like when he comes in. He's an addition to the show. He's special. Put him in the Battle Royal. Fun little.
It's all going to be a backstage segment, like the last time he had a match, and they set it up with a backstage segment on Collision. They're going to do it on Saturday. He's going to bump into somebody. He's going to be with other baby faces, and that's how the match is made. Even though some of his babyface friends are already scheduled for the show, in Orange Cassidy, who he usually teams with. So he's got to find a new babyface friend.
Do the dogs have any? Do they have a fourth friend that they can add and make it an 8-man tag? Darby Allin, Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, and Big Boom AJ.
I like Big Boom in the national title gimmick, but I want him to win it. Is my whole thing. Yeah, and then he should defend it in Mexico and Japan and all this stuff. Yeah, just defend it everywhere. Why is our chat? Our chat loves AEW when they're like getting on me for asking for a video package for the AEW women's title match on Dynamite. They need stuff for Collision too. Like, sure, they have a segment on Collision. That's fine.
No, I totally got what you were going for. Like, I said the same thing yesterday, that they should at least, I want the Thekla to get a promo, but at least have a video package to cover the stuff that you haven't covered. Like, there are probably fans that watched last week's Dynamite that's watching this week's Dynamite that aren't on social media, that never saw Statlander's challenge for the 2 out of 3 falls. The one thing that I was going to note that they didn't do is they didn't run down the card really for
Excalibur wasn't
Revolution.
there. Riccaboni's not. He's not
Yeah.
seasoned enough to do that.
Riccaboni was too busy being proud of himself for doing the Willow rap.
Yeah, he was.
And Brian reacting like this is the first time thing. Like,
He gave him the most like, "Are you proud of yourself, buddy?"
he was like, that was quite impressive.
Condescending dick thing to say. I'm listening to it and I was like, Brian Danielson, you are such a dick.
Yeah, I was like, Brian like hated this or something because his response was just like, "Wow, that was good." Riccaboni was so proud of what he did, and Brian was like, "What the hell did I just listen to?"
Brian put on his parenting hat for a minute. That was great. Good job, bud.
If he was with Booker, he would have been like, what the hell?
By the way, Jeremy, of course our chat who loves AEW is going against your idea. They hate women's wrestling because they love AEW.
That's also true.
Yeah, they were like, "We got a Willow promo and a Willow match. That's all we needed. We didn't need any more women on this show."
Right, good enough. Just women.
We got a Willow matchup. We got 2 women's matches announced for Revolution. You guys are never happy. That's what they're saying. That's what they're trying to say. We got 4 women's matches on Sunday. Are you happy now?
I do. I love our chat, but come on, y'all can't act like me asking for a video package for the AEW Women's Title match on Dynamite, which is the most viewed show that they have, is asking for the world here. I didn't say they needed a segment. I said they just needed a video package.
They should have been all 2 hours, is what you're saying.
I mean, that would have been fine. You know what? The pay-per-view match should have been here. They should have put the 2 out of 3 falls match on this show because it would have been seen by more, and they would have had more time to do the 2 out of 3 falls, and it would have been more of an opportunity for them. That's what they say in WWE, right? It's like, oh, can't put it on the pay-per-view because it would be on SmackDown. It'll get more time. It would be much better.
I figured it out. You know why they didn't show the video package? The video package, they do it on old tape. They were doing an old-timey video package. And the tape actually got ate up by the VCRs, so they couldn't air it. And that's why we had the Brody King standby match, was because they couldn't air the 3-minute video, and instead they had to do the Brody King match. That's what the standby was. They just didn't tell you what it was.
Why didn't Tony get the rights to a song? Why didn't he get the rights to Toxic for a Thekla and Statlander video package, huh? Does he hate women? Is that why he didn't do it? He gets the rights to songs for everybody else.
He's waiting for one of us to do the video for him. One of us can get a job. If Thekla is still the AEW Women's Champion by Dynasty and she's on the podium for that stupid press conference, I'm just going to ask, have you considered getting Britney Spears Toxic as your theme song?
I respect. Yeah, I think you have to do it at this point. I think you have to ask that question.
I'm just going to make it my bit at this point. Can we license this song for you? This is going to be my new claim to fame. You got Waffle House for Malcolm, and I'm going to be your theme song. Your new theme song should be from Joel.
Can we get the licensing? Can we get the copyright claim on this, please?
We're going to start really getting in on Tony's money. Tony, if you're not going to pay me for a job, will you pay Britney Spears for the license to Toxic?
But this is why people watch In the Week.
See,
you're hearing all the stuff that was wrong with Dynamite before we get into what was actually right, which is everything else.
Henry,
AEW podcast logo, and then we go.
Henry hates women because I'm saying they should get a video package for the women's title match instead of the Brody King squash match. But he would rather the Brody King squash match because that's 2 men instead of a video package for 2 women. So Henry, woman hater over here.
I understand.
Henry, woman hater is wild.
I'm sorry, Henry. I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
It should have been the standby match. Should have been Inspiration cutting a promo, being upset that they were caught off guard last week, and then they get squashed by Sisters of Sin, and then Tekla cuts a promo. Statlander comes out and attacks her, lays out all this Triangle of Madness like she's done in the past, and that's how you build up to the matchup.
Best I can do is offer you that on Collision.
You could have done you could have still gotten time to do the Brody King squash match in that time. Because I did like the post match with Brody breaking the chain and getting the better of Swerve.
Well, maybe they could not have more women on the show because they only had a 10-minute overrun, because actually Warner Brothers Discovery hates AEW and will not give them more than a 10-minute overrun, and the partnership is crumbling, and they are going to be kicked off of TNT and TBS within the next 3 weeks, I assume. Maybe that is the real story here that we're just ignoring and not talking about.
Better start spending
like
that
Ringside News exclusive.
Better start spending $30 now. Start spending that money on my interview.
It's hilarious. I had someone in my chat last week on AE Ramble who asked that question, and I just read the first part of it. It was like, "Do you guys believe the Ringside News report?" And I was like, "That's enough." No, I don't.
That's amazing. We got a super chat from Ryan Lambert saying, "I was so disappointed with no sub legend questions."
That's fair.
They should have had Denise
opportunity.
do it. Yeah, Denise should have done it. And Matthew Hooks adding to the conversation, "Wish we had women's multi-person match battle royal."
Well, Henry doesn't allow for more women matches, so yell at Henry. He is clearly booking AEW.
That's right. Also, what title do the women have in AEW warrants a giant battle royal? Come on, what are we doing here?
They're going to create the AEW Women's International Day Championship.
The Women's History Month title. It'll just
and it's only defended in March.
That's right. It's the annual.
You're the champion for the rest of the year. You're the champion for the rest of your year, but you only have to defend it in March.
It's like the King of Pro Wrestling title. You get the championship, and then we circle back around of whoever ends the month as the champion is the Women's History just champion, and they go down as the champion of that year for the month, and then we do it all over again the following year. I like that. It could kind of be
the Owen is like that.
I was gonna say it could kind of be like the Continental Classic, except they just don't defend the title. You know, it's just you win the tournament and that's it, or you win the title, defend the title, whatever it might be.
It sounds awful. So we need to do it.
My cat wants out so bad.
Okay.
All right, I will say this. I'm not saying the whole show. I took the show off for a reason.
We're done. We're done in 40 minutes anyway because I got a hard out at noon.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Sorry to derail your.
No, that's fine.
No, this is perfect.
Better than talking about,
you got people in the chat asking us to do more 3-man booths.
This is why we do them at special times.
Yeah, so we don't want to overdo it. You know, we don't want to. I was gonna make another AEW women's joke. You know, you only get it just once a month, just like the women on AEW television. You get one match per show, okay?
We're very special for this.
We're never getting that AEW podcast.
We're never getting the podcast. We're never getting the interview with Tony. We're never getting anything ever again. This is your fault. I had to go there and grovel for an opportunity in Vancouver.
I hope the chat knows that I do love them. I'm fucking with them the same way they fuck with me. So it's all turnabout fair play. I think the only like real fair.
Jeremy appeared on the show with a video package.
I was a member of the media just asking a question. I don't need a video package for that. Although that would have been hilarious if they gave like Denise her own video package before she asked her question.
Or just like one of those like American Gladiators where it'd be like Denise Salcedo and they just flash and you see Denise like this and it says Denise Salcedo.
It's the moving graphic thing.
Yeah.
She like turns around, does like a thumbs up.
I thought it was gonna like cut to like the Polaroid poses, and every person who asks the question gets that same treatment.
For Christopher from Self-Made, it's one of those like when they have their cameras off on Self-Made and it's just the little picture of them in a circle. It says Self-Made.
I thought they were using like fake people at first because I didn't hear what the first person said. So I don't know who that was. I apologize to that
because they didn't
person.
say their name. That first person didn't say
the
their
first
name.
person?
Everybody
Okay.
else said their name. Like Baby Huey, I shouted him out on Twitter because
Yeah.
I've done shows with Baby Huey before, and then I think they had someone from The Ringer, and then Denise, and then Christopher from Self-Made.
Yeah, when the one dude, I don't think it was Baby Huey. I think he went before Baby Huey. Because it was the first person who didn't say, and then there was the second person, and I was like, that could be fake. I don't know. I don't know who this person is. That sounds like it might be a fake name.
Well,
and then
here's how we do it. We go to the AEW results, and
do they have it all listed?
Surprisingly, they don't actually have the people who asked the questions.
Cowardly.
That's of course not.
Fake. Fake. That's a fake coverage page there if you don't have who asked the questions to everybody. But I didn't hear the first name, and then the second name I was like, that could be fake. But then when I heard Baby Huey and Denise, I was like, oh no, that's actually real people there asking this question. Cowardly for not having Dave do a question.
That's what
he was there.
Talked about this already.
Oh, my bad.
Well, no, it's fine. Like the real answer being Dave didn't want. They were all fed questions, right? The questions were given to these people. They weren't asking questions that were their own. So Dave was probably like, I don't want to mess with my journalistic integrity, so I'm not going to do the thing. So that's probably why Dave wasn't asked to do it. Meanwhile, I don't think Dave would have played along because Dave's not there to be part of their show. He's there to speak and be to watch their show. Whereas, again, no offense to anyone who participated. Like Denise is not a wrestling reporter, and Baby Huey's an on-air personality for the radio station that he works for, and like all this other stuff. They're not full-time quote unquote journalist reporters, whatever you want to call them. So they're like, yeah, we'll be part of it because it's fun and we're part of the show.
I think that's part of it. I honestly think a big part of it is that Dave just wanted to go to the show and enjoy it. And he's like, I don't feel like doing any of this. Can I just sit front row and thirst after Okada? Because,
I'll do it if I get an interview with Okada. They're just like, nope.
Well, that's all I want to do. But yeah, I was disappointed that Dave wasn't there. He would have asked MJF about the ratings. He'd have been like, what's your take on the 18-49 demographic and how it's gone up over the past few months? Do you think the Nielsen ratings? Yeah. Do you think that has anything to do with how viewership is measured with big data plus panel or just big data? I'll take my question off the air. And then MJF could brag about how the ratings have gone up because of him. See, he set it up perfectly here.
Cool.
Dave already gets to brag to Brian that he saw the better show this week live.
Oh yeah, Brian was at Raw, right?
Brian went to Raw. With his kids.
Brian probably paid more for the Raptors for sitting in the rafters than Dave paid for front row.
I don't think Dave paid a dime, honestly.
What he would have paid for front row.
Yeah.
That's what's funny too, when I think about the media who go to these shows. The only media member that I know who covers wrestling events, or then at least used to and go to the press conferences, was Thurston, who would pay for a ticket so that he wasn't so he got the full experience of being in there, and he got a ticket and sat there and then went and joined the crowd for media afterwards because he refused to take any freebies from whatever company. He was trying to be the most unbiased journalist that he could, which full marks to him. But also, just because you give me a free ticket to the show doesn't mean I'm going to like it any less or more. I will appreciate it, but I still got to pay stadium prices to get a drink or some food. That's going to annoy me, and your show's probably going to go all of 7 hours, so that's probably going to annoy me. Don't worry, there are enough things that are going to balance out the free ticket that will balance out my feelings towards your show. The free ticket is just something I'm going to I'll be happy with. It's fine. You did the bare minimum. From there, you got a show.
Yeah, this is why I don't ever want to work when I go to these shows. I'm like, I'll take the free ticket, but I don't actually want to do anything. Just let me enjoy the show and go home.
This is the answer from MJF. It would have been like, big data, big Hebrew. That's all that matters.
See, look at this. We would have fed this perfectly and then to these guys.
I would have lunged at MJF, be like, you son of a bitch.
I would have fed all this perfectly to him.
That's all I want. And I got it at All Out. I got it there. I'll get it again. If they have it at the Rogers Arena in Vancouver, I will report that they've given us water again.
I hope they don't. I hope they make you starve of thirst.
That's true. TNA really understands free tickets don't buy Joel's.
They're like, you're mean to us.
I mean, listen, I had to go through other means the last time they were here to get my ticket. So
I gotta see if I'm going to that dumb show, and I shouldn't call it dumb. They'll never give me a ticket now.
You're all watching this one.
Yeah. What's the show?
You're watching it.
Sacrifice in Cleveland.
Rebellion.
Oh, Rebellion. Yeah, I gotta see if I can go to that.
Tell you this much: I don't know if I'm doing the post show because it's the same weekend as Dynasty.
Oh, is it
Dynasty?
Oh, it's the night before Dynasty.
Oh,
Saturday. Yeah.
God.
Why would they do that the same weekend?
I don't know.
They're
man.
Usually better about that.
No, they're taking schedules messed up. No, because they can't. There's no other time they can do it unless they did the first week of April. Then it's honestly, this is so. First week of April is Passover. The second week is Easter, and then it's WrestleMania, and then you could do the final week in April. But their tapings weren't. They didn't have enough in the can to get them all the way to the end of April. They had until that's their own planning. Also, Dynasty wasn't announced all that early.
Until late.
6 months. 7 months.
Okay, so we have Rebellion, Dynasty, and then it's Mania week, right?
Yeah, it goes right into it.
All segue, and I know that's gonna be just a really busy week.
And I don't know. My plan is to do the show on the Monday coming back from Vancouver, but it'll all depend on whether my flight touches down and I get home in time. But SV3 be on standby for that Monday.
We'll do 3
even if
we
it's
need
for the
to.
first half hour. Even if it's for the first half hour.
I'm gonna check out that whole week. I'm gonna find a way to be sick. I got enough kids. One of them got to get me sick during this whole week.
All you have to do is just go out, man. I went out for the Eve show, and I feel like crap this week.
Oh yeah,
that's true. Well, yeah, you were hanging around a bunch of wrestlers, so that you're always gonna get sick after hanging around a bunch of wrestlers.
Cinematic saying we should join the Mania post show with Joel. So it's Cresta and I doing the Mania post show.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna join that.
Oh, nice.
I'm popping on that. Yeah.
That show might turn into like 10 people popping on and off just for the sake of getting in their bits during the Mania post show.
Yeah, who cares about Mania? Although according to Cody Rhodes, it's going to be an all-time great
sleeper. It's going to be a sleeper.
I think
sleeper Mania.
I think he meant people are going to fall asleep at this WrestleMania.
Now he's saying it's going to be an all-time great bell-to-bell WrestleMania. Yeah.
Well, that's because Revolution is this weekend, so he's got to talk about how great.
I thought it was so hilarious that Cody held a fucking media day at the Nightmare Factory yesterday when it's Revolution week. Like, I don't know if it's intentful or purposeful. It's just something stupid that makes me laugh that like, oh yeah, he's doing just like a whole ass media day because he's doing the Van Vliet interview. There's another one coming, like I think it's like Brandon Williams. I apologize if I got that wrong. And then he did
Complex interview.
Yeah, he did Complex, which came out yesterday, and it's all the same Nightmare Factory setup. He's wearing the same suit and all of them, so it's very clear that he was just like, "Hey, let's do a media day on this day," and it's so funny that it's on Revolution week. That fucking movie doesn't come out until 2028 or some shit. He ain't promoting this movie.
No, I think it does come out later this year.
Does it come out this year? All right, fine.
Yeah, but not anytime soon that he needed to do this.
Yeah, he didn't need to do all of this, right? Because you know what makes it funnier, and why? Like I will say, like, I was Brandon Davis. Thank you, Cinematics. It wasn't Brandon Williams. I apologize. I'll say this. It makes it funnier that he won the title on SmackDown, right? And instead of like his first, promo as the champion, his first words as the champion being on the next show, which WWE loves to do. They're like, we're not going to have the champion talk because tune into the show to see the champion talk. Cody's like, let me do a big media tour and just get all these interviews out here before the next show.
You've seen me talk, dog. It's fine.
It absolutely rules. I know Street Fighter comes out this year. I was screwing around that it was 2028, but yeah, that thing doesn't come out until later this year. It's not this week. It's not like he's doing a bunch of promotion for this week.
Zeno Hour was like, I don't hate AEW at all, but he's saying, it's Street Fighter promotion. What you guys talking about?
Like, he's promoting Street Fighter, sure, but there's no way he's having this big old media day to promote Street Fighter.
He won the title, and then he went to WWPR and said, "Tell them all I'm back on top." And he's like, I will call Brandon Davis right away.
Yeah, I don't know if it's intentional. I don't know how Cody's mind works, but Cody's a madman, so I don't know if it's intentional. It's just very funny that he decided to do this on an AEW pay-per-view week.
I saw the line about the sleeper WrestleMania. I just thought about what Brian says, how much fun it is to lie.
Hear the Cody lie.
Yeah, bless Cody. He's got to try to hype this thing. He's like, we got, we have great matches. Roman and Punk, me and Randy, Liv and Stephanie. He didn't name Rhea and Jade. He's like, it's going to be a great bell-to-bell WrestleMania. He's like, when you see what Jacob is up to, when you see what Sammy is up to, I was like, what are they up to? I don't know what the hell they're doing at WrestleMania.
That's a good question. What are they up to, Cody?
I still love how people are doing like Obafemi versus Brock. That's the match. I'm like, Brock Lesnar's going to show up on Monday, ask where his wise man is, and then find out his wise man's been kidnapped and go after the guy that kidnapped him. Wise man, advocate, whatever. The old Jew. They're going to ask him where the old Jew went, and then he's going to have to go chase down the guy who took the old Jew, and then the old Jew's going to be like, it was LA Knight, and then it's going to be LA Knight versus Brock Lesnar because it's not an open challenge. It's a match.
I don't know.
It's okay. Obafemi's going to have the match against Brock and totally win, right?
Yeah,
I think that's a bad decision.
Yeah,
he loves putting over young black talent too, right?
I've been saying this before this, even the reports came out this week that Brock was not gonna probably lose until his retirement match, because that doesn't make any sense from a Brock perspective to lose at Mania and then you're gonna do a retirement match in Minnesota. He just lost. Why does it even matter?
Well, John Cena did it. That's how they should sell it to Brock. He's like, do you think you're better than John Cena? And Brock's like, yeah, I do.
And he's like, yes,
so I ain't losing.
Yes, I do.
Listen, maybe John Cena lied to us. Maybe John Cena got it wrong. Brock decided he wasn't going to actually retire at SummerSlam. A lot of this came from John kind of letting it slip in an interview that it was happening, and we've all been with it.
I do think people are kind of ahead of themselves on Brock retiring at SummerSlam because like that it started off as just like a rumor, and then I think Cena was just kind of largely commenting on the rumor, and then people just sort of ran more with it. So I don't know if he's actually going to retire because people just kind of wanted to put two and two together of, oh, Minnesota, Brock, he's out. Like, this is going to be his retirement match. Like, I don't think that's like 100% the case, honestly. Maybe it is. Maybe this is where he does have his retirement match, but it felt like just an alignment of things of Minnesota SummerSlam. Cena was retiring. There was the speculation with AJ retiring. And so it's like, oh, well, Brock is going to retire next year too. And like, I don't know if that's actually going to happen. Maybe he just wants to go watch his kid play hockey though, and he is going to retire.
It's a big ass kid.
Well, I mean, you got Brock Lesnar genes. What do you expect?
I mean, listen, his daughter's massive too.
Yeah, she's a shot putter.
You bet she is.
Yeah, she's beastly.
Yeah, well, no pun intended.
No, actually, it wasn't. Like like Bailey Humphrey is beastly as well. Like, yeah,
she's got a name now. She's got a new name.
She does.
Michaela something. I don't know. Michaela. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I knew they were going to change her name because Bailey.
Yeah, because of Bailey
with the same first name, but
yeah. But she's a beast as well.
She is.
Yeah.
Monster.
I look forward to her winning the Evolve title in 2 weeks.
Yep. Going for it. Kendall Gray, the Kendall Gray era is over. She relinquished.
I love that
the
she didn't drop the title.
Women's Championship. Absolutely. No, Big Kendall. No, we got the Kendall Gray stocks. We can't have her lose before she wins the NXT Women's Championship at Stand and Deliver. Can't do that. Come on, what are we talking about? Stand and Deliver is just going to be a whole bunch of multi-person matches all throughout.
That shit's on YouTube.
Yo,
you can't tell me,
dude.
You can't tell me you're shocked. You can't. You can't.
No, I'm not.
I mean-
I'm not shocked at all. But that just tells you how haphazardly Stand and Deliver was put together. The move from WrestleMania weekend to 2 weeks earlier. The fact that it's 4 days after going to Madison Square Garden, 2 weeks after the Houston show, 3 weeks after their last PLE that was in the Performance Center when they never had PLEs in the Performance Center. It just feels like their last 2 PLEs were put together like last week.
Yeah, it was the fact that like you mentioned, it was moved off of WrestleMania week, and I think part of that is simply because I don't know how well they were going to sell in Las Vegas for the second straight year with everything. Considering, I mean, the last Vengeance Day was at the PC because you know I don't think they knew. I don't think they were gonna. I don't think they thought they were going to do too well there to actually hold it anywhere. And it's not even like an arena or anything. It's at the place where they ran one of the live CW NXT shows. So
they had to move. It was supposed to be
they had to move because
Randy didn't sell enough tickets. So
because the WrestleMania main event couldn't move tickets.
Right.
But it being on YouTube was. It's partially how haphazardly that the Stand and Deliver stuff was put together. It's also just how much they've kind of just bungled things with the Peacock relationship and then moving to ESPN early and not having like a plan in place after all of that. Because they had the Saturday Night's Main Event still on Peacock, but they didn't have any type of plan in place for or they did have a plan in place and nobody wanted the content, which isn't good either. Of like, hey, do you want? They're talking to ESPN, like, do you want our NXT PLEs? And ESPN was like, no, we got
like,
the
we
WWE
just
ones.
Paid extra to get you on here early.
WWE's like, no, you don't have to. And WWE's like, you don't have to pay for these. We just like want them on.
We want to give it to you. We'll just give it to you. And they're like. We don't think anyone's gonna pay for this.
The reason why I'm not like I don't have much to say about it being bad is because we don't know what the deal is with YouTube. We don't know what their financial deal is, and they, by all accounts, are getting a better deal than Joe YouTube with 1 million followers or subscribers. So like I don't know what the money looks like for them, and they will probably get really good viewership out of this because YouTube is a free platform. It's ad supported. They probably get a better rate. So I don't know. I don't know what the commitment rate from Peacock versus what you're getting from viewership on a YouTube looks like. And also one thing that WWE could be doing is testing the opportunity to then start a members only stream where all the PLEs for NXT and maybe all the special AAA shows are going to be on the members only tab on YouTube. They could be going for that, where it's like you pay $5 a month on YouTube and you get the members only stream and it's ad free and blah, 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 whatever it is. That's kind of where my brain is at if they are going to stick with YouTube. But I don't know what the ad rates are for them, YouTube versus anywhere else they could wind up. I don't know what the money is different.
Oh, I do think this is obviously a much different kind of deal than when, MLW, who we love, they air their shows on YouTube. They still do.
No.
Them doing like I don't think it's that. Like I do think like YouTube is probably actually paying them something, and they obviously have much bigger. They're like the 10th most subscribed to channel on YouTube, so they obviously have like a ton of subscribers and a ton of viewership and everything. So yeah, I don't think it's a downgrade the way a lot of people sort of are making it out, and we're joking about making it out to be as well, because I do agree with Joel that it's a different kind of platform, like it's a different kind of partnership, I should say, between WWE and YouTube compared to YouTube and random independent promotion who might just be putting their events for free on the platform. All right, if y'all got 20 minutes left, like I should probably get out of here and let y'all review Dynamite, because I'm sure people want to hear about Dynamite. I thought Kyle Fletcher and Speedball Mike Bailey was absolutely fantastic. It was fine.
This guy.
I'm telling you,
this is what I would have had to deal with.
I'm telling you, Mike Bailey went out there, as I've been saying, he's like, I'm tired of these other dudes getting singles matches. Let me get mine and let me go. My only
and they gave him a nice promo afterwards.
Yeah.
That was probably his best promo in AEW.
My only nitpick of that is the arm stuff from early in the match felt like it didn't matter by the end of the match. Fletcher was like trying to make it seem like he was still like selling it and everything, but it didn't play into enough of what it maybe could have when it came to that. But that's again a nitpick because I'll buy adrenaline. At least he didn't use the wrong arm when he did that clothesline, because he clotheslined with the right and his left arm was working. That would have really annoyed me. But I still think he could have done, just down the closing stretch, a better job of like selling the arm a little bit more. But that's just me. And my other thing, this isn't even a nitpick, Kyle Fletcher's fucking tall. Like when he was on screen with MJF, I was like, the wrong guy's the world champion. Put the belt on the dude who's towering over this guy.
I don't know if you know this. MJF is actually 5'8".
Yeah,
I thought Fletcher had like lifts in his shoes or something. Like he's so much taller than MJF.
What's funny is that if you saw Kyle Fletcher when he was like doing Aussie Open stuff and younger, he was just a tall, lanky guy. So you knew he was taller because he was lankier. Now that he's filled out and he's been bulking out, you do notice that he is substantially bigger than most.
Yeah. Yep. It was just shocking to me how much taller he was than MJF. Because MJF, he's filled out, he's bulked up and everything. Like he's super in shape. So he's not like a small dude by any imagination. And then Fletcher, he's next to Fletcher, and I'm like, this really is like 2025 Randy Orton who ate the last guy, because this dude is just a monster compared to the guy next to him. I remember I was stunned when the last time Randy and Cody fought and how much bigger Randy was compared to Cody. Because Cody's in shape, he's a big dude, and Randy just like, nope, my traps are bigger than your entire body over here. Oh, absolutely insane how tall Kyle Fletcher was. He should win the title on Sunday. Just, I don't know how he gets in the match. He should just win the title.
He should just cash in the imaginary money in the bank.
Option T.
Option
TNT.
No, option pink. Option pink.
No, option pink is what you do when it's a long night at the bar.
No, I like option TNT. I like option TNT because you're blowing up, the other title plans. You know what I mean? So I like option TNT. That was a good option pink joke, Joel. All right, I'm out. I stayed way too long. Appreciate you guys. I'll be back tomorrow. Joel's gonna make me talk about TNA.
Yeah, and we'll talk about Mystery Wrestling too.
Oh yeah, okay.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, it's not TNA, so that's much better.
As long as it's not TNA, right?
I'll find a way.
Talk to y'all later. Bye, everybody.
Peace, sir. I agree with Jeremy that Kyle Fletcher versus Speedball Mike Bailey was amazing. Yes. It wasn't just great. It was amazing. One of the best TV matches of the year.
Let me get this out of the way. No, I don't think it was just fine. I do think the match was fantastic. I do. I thought it was very, very good. I really enjoyed the match. They did a really good job in terms of the flow of the match, getting you kind of from the slow to the fast and getting you to bite on near falls that mattered. Like they did. There was really good storytelling throughout the match. I cannot complain about it. And the finish wasn't my favorite. It really they should have scrapped the trios match tomorrow night or on Sunday night and just been like, nah, we're going to do Fletcher and Speedball one more time. They should have just
they can go back to that because they've had their two matches on TV. So when it goes to like a pay-per-view, if you want to do it in Vancouver, in Speedball's home country, that would be a big time matchup to have on the Dynasty card. Like, yeah, this was absolutely superb. I disagree with Jeremy though on the one thing. I thought Kyle Fletcher did a great job of selling the arm throughout the matchup. Like him just stretching out the arm, selling the arm on different moves. Like when he did the one arm power bomb, he was selling it pretty late. Even that lariat that he brought up, he didn't hit that until like the final stretch of the matchup before Speedball hit him with the thrust kick, hit him with the tornado kick, and then was setting up for the flamingo driver. I thought, and I enjoyed the finish as well because it protected Speedball. It left room to go back to this matchup because Fletcher, it seems like Fletcher can't beat Speedball. He can't beat him on his own, because when it was a Continental Classic matchup where no one could be at ringside, he lost. And then in this one, Speedball came so close so many different times, like especially on the time adventure when he hits him with the time adventure. And this is why I was like, I wish Excalibur, this was one time I did say on this show, even though I thought the commentary on this show was much better than the last couple of weeks when it was Excalibur and Tony Schiavone. But Excalibur could have been there because he would have said that that's the time adventure. That's like his finishing move in AEW. And when he hit that and got the close near fall on that, I bit on that because I was like, oh man, I would have loved for Speedball to win, because this was one of his best performances in an AEW ring. And him and Kyle Fletcher have a tremendous chemistry together, unreal chemistry together. They just feel like pro wrestling soulmates. Like they can't do anything wrong against one another. So even though, you know, it was kind of like a cheap finish, I think that the finish played in nicely to the story that they told, that Fletcher could not beat Speedball on his own, that he needed the help from his trios partners. And it plays into the matchup that they're going to have on Sunday for the trios championships as well. The only thing I would change is nothing to do with this matchup, is that the very next matchup didn't need any interference in it.
Yeah, that's fair. Going back to the finish and using the cheating to basically give you the match at Dynasty, potentially Speedball versus Kyle for the title. That works for me, not just because, like you said, Speedball is Canadian and it would be a big opportunity for him. Probably his biggest standout match on AEW pay-per-view since the one he had against Okada, which I think was also Dynasty. Was it Dynasty?
No, that was Double or Nothing.
Was that Double or Nothing? Okay, regardless, yeah. The Okada.
That's probably his like 3-4. He's had the Ricochet Omega triple threat. Yeah, the Okada at Double or Nothing, and then the 2 Fletcher matches. Those are his best like performances in singles competition in AEW so far.
So I'm talking in terms of pay-per-view, the Okada match being one of the big highlights, stepping through and having a big match with Okada, who wasn't necessarily lighting people on fire at that point either. He got a lot out of Okada, which wasn't happening at the time. And I like the idea of these two guys who are really, really fantastic in the ring together, going back at it. And this time, I don't know how, but trying to get all the shit out of the ring. So none of the screwdriver stuff, none of the like barring everyone from ringside without having to tell you you're barring everyone from ringside, getting rid of the stuff and having just a regular wrestling match, and maybe making Speedball prove to Kyle Fletcher, like, you can't beat me without something getting in the way. And he needs to go that route to get the win. So maybe that's what it is. It's a do it without any help.
Yeah. But they told a great story, a tremendous match. And what is it now? How many weeks in a row that Dynamite's had one of the best TV matches of the year, like over and over again? It started with the Fletcher and Ciampa match on February 11th. February 18th was the Swerve and Omega matchup. The week after that was the Mile High Madness. You had MJF and Kevin Knight and Jet Set Rodeo and Don Callis family last week. And now this week you had this matchup. I really enjoyed the main event as well, with Ciampa and FTR versus the Dem Bucks. That was just like an all action party matchup that had the people on their feet. Nice little build up for the FTR and Young Bucks matchup coming up at Revolution, and as well as building up the whole Ciampa and Briscoe rivalry, which is another match that their rematch needs to be on a pay-per-view.
And this is the perfect match to do this trios match, because they are all connected, not just in story now, but in the past. They're all just PWG stalwarts, minus Briscoe to a certain degree. I mean, you don't associate Mark Briscoe with PWG, but everyone else in this match were PWG guys. And that's what the Bucks are just being tasked to go out there. And I guess not FTR so much, but regardless, like, it's a Bucks thing. It is a Bucks thing. And the Bucks continue to just get to do what they want to do. And when they do it like this, the way that they present, they're having the best matches when they just get to be the Young Bucks of old, which I don't know. I do wish that the stuff that the heel stuff had translated better sometimes, but part of being a heel is kind of toning down the style. And the Bucks Bucks were always known for being flashy, now get to be flashy and get to be the Young Bucks. So it's like the reason it didn't work is the reason that the Young Bucks work. And you can't really mess around with the two. So again, it's a really, really fun trios match. I was really impressed just watching not only these 6 guys kind of beat the shit out of each other, but also this is going to be my nitpick. Actually, I know you just introduced him. Now that you've turned him heel, you have to change Ciampa's theme song that everyone loves.
Nah, you can't. You can't. No.
You gotta get the heat on him. You got to get the heat on him. You can't let people be chanting his song.
No,
come on.
I don't care. That song's too much of a banger. I can't validate that.
I understand.
Can't approve of that.
That's your emotional response. But deep down in your heart of hearts, deep down in that heart of hearts, that you cannot cheer for the guy who did something so heinous to his friend that you come out and the next week you want to sing that song. I get the song.
Well, the crowd hasn't started singing it yet, so it's still early. When he finally can be a babyface again, maybe they could start singing it, but it was fine. And I really enjoyed Willow and Persephone. I thought that was a great showcase for Persephone, who's so powerful and so unique from anybody else on the AEW roster. And King Potate, you're one of the good brothers, so I will correct you on this very nicely. You are wrong. Willow Nightingale has been defending the TBS title quite often. Actually, she has 4 defenses in 2.5 months, which is way more than Mercedes Moné had throughout the last 5 months of her reign. She's literally had 3 defenses out of the 4 on AEW television. She went to Eve and defended it over there. She had the defense against Julia Hart on Collision, had the 4-way with Mina Shirakawa, Megan Bain, and one more person, I forget who it was, but that was on Dynamite, and then this one right here. So that's 4 defenses in 2.5 months. She is defending it actually quite often, more often than Babes of Wrath have defended the women's tag team titles.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel that way because it's happening either on Collision or she's also the tag champions, where they're trying to make the tag champions type of thing.
Yeah, I think that's where the confusion comes, is that they're like, oh, is she defending this or is she defending that?
I made the same mistake, and then Jeremy and I were very quickly like, oh, no, wait, no, she is defending it. It's just not, you just don't know about it because there's other stuff going on with the women's division surrounding Willow. Oh, by the way, King Potate, you're also wrong again, because I have also advocated for getting rid of Seth's theme, because I don't think as a heel.
We've all been on the same page with that.
Yeah, the fans shouldn't be cheering for Seth either. They shouldn't be singing his song either as a heel, but they do it because they're idiots. So this is the point. You need to change the song so that you get the heat. You're not supposed to enjoy the music of the heel.
And one thing that we're always going to do here on In the Weeds, all 3 hosts, is demand that we get praise for being right. But I literally called this 2 months ago, in January. I was the only person that remembered Willow's first promo when she was double champion, and she said, I don't mind defending the titles, the same title in one night. And I was like, Revolution needs to be the night that she defends both titles in one night. And I called it perfectly, and that's what's going to happen on Sunday. She's defending against the TBS title against Lena Cross on the 0 hour, and then Babes of Wrath are defending against Cross and Bane on the main card, which is a big stamp of approval for Lena Cross, who's in her 3rd and 4th match in AEW. She's going to be on her first pay-per-view wrestling twice. That is AEW telling you that they see a lot in this woman.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I've seen Lena Cross wrestle, and I know that she's very good at this. Whether or not it's going to translate to the TV style, we'll see. But there is definitely that vote of confidence there. I saw someone earlier being, not in our chat, but on Twitter last night, being like, Willow Nightingale, she's the only AEW double champion to defend their titles twice in one night. I'm like, this is Maxwell Jacob Freeman erasure. Me of all people saying that. Shouldn't be that way.
It's like, respect Max.
Yes, come on. What are we doing here, Maxwell? He did it anyway.
No,
the Tyra May Steele,
right? Oh, no, yes, that's my friend. No, Tyra May Steele announces that she has been released from WWE.
Shouldn't have played that Vince McMahon audio tape for everyone. The voice message.
That's probably it, right?
Congratulations. We should have a chat sometime. You want a contract? Well, anyway, listen, gave us a lot to talk about, but no, she shouldn't have done that.
And she did say that in the tweet. She's like, on a weekend off for WWE, I went to Olympic wrestling, won gold at the World. Prize purse was $350,000. I tried to go back to WWE that Monday. They moved me up to Raw just to tell me they had to let me go because I went behind their back. So was this dream or nightmare?
No. There you go.
Damn shame. Damn shame.
It is. I'm sure she's going to land on her feet.
Yeah. I'm sure she will. She's an Olympic gold medalist, for God's sakes. She'll be good.
And she can be doing, I don't know. She's got plenty. She'll have opportunities. I'm not going to make.
She's much more talented than what's his name, Gable Steveson. So
low bar, but also.
Yeah, I know. Just saying.
It's fair. Was there anything else from Dynamite that we had to push out? The Willow stuff. So my expectation for Willow at Revolution is she beats Lena Cross, then she gets beat down in the pre-show, and then it's how will Willow, do this? And they either overcome the odds and she wins, or she drops the tag titles. My hope is to drop the tag titles, because please just let this end. Let this tag titles on multiple people, or just multiple people holding titles. Let me try again. One person holding multiple titles, and that. Let's finish this off. I'm ready. I don't need to see more people holding more titles. Let's just come on.
Yeah, I think she beats Lena on 0 Hour and then loses to the tag team titles on the main show. Like, yeah, let's have some separation. And I still want to see Inspiration versus Lena Cross and Megan Bayne. So give that to me.
Yeah, why not? I'm still waiting for Megan Bayne to be that number one.
Yeah, she needs a singles title run, but I think it's going to be like the AEW Women's World Championship. So. Yeah. We'll see what happens here. Only other thing was the tag team matchup to open the show, which was another great matchup on the show. I thought that Moxley, Takeshita, Claudio, and Hechicero all worked really well. That crowd was hot for that matchup as well. It was quite obvious Hechicero was there to take the loss, but they still protected him with the way that he took the loss as well. So they may run back Claudio versus Hechicero because they did work really well with one another. But the post-match was the most notable part. It really feels to me after that post-match that now, unfortunately, Takeshita has to lose at Revolution to set up him leaving the Don Callis family.
It's time. It's time to break out the Cinnabon. It's time to start living your best life, Konosuke. It's time to be the champion you need to be, the baby face you need to be, the good guy. My little cinnamon roll. Do you think he gets the sauce on top of it, or does he just say no sauce?
Oh, you got to get the sauce. You got to get the sauce. Cinnabuns is not the same without the sauce. You know?
I mean, he's in good shape. You know. Do you think it's because he has this? That's we got. You know what, Takeshita, if you're part of the press conference at AEW Dynasty and you are a babyface, I will ask the question. Do you?
Don't worry, King Potato. If you don't like that take, imagine how Jimmy Macaram's going to react when I tell him the same thing in about an hour. He's going to be pissed.
That'll be fun. It's gonna be a fun Revolution. Jeremy and I are gonna run down that card. I'm sure of it tomorrow on the show. And is there anything else we got to talk about? The Tyrame stock thing is Tyrame's stock. The Tyrame Steel thing. This whole nightmare dream. I'm starting to wonder, like, is this her talking about a dream or is this real?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is this just her? Because then she's also retweeting stuff from Evolve. So I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah. Who knows? People have jumped off of bigger stuff than that, and it would be quite telling of where they're at, where WWE is at, if they are releasing Olympic gold medalists like flippantly like that right after she has like a main event match on one of their shows.
I'm also questioning if they moved her up to Raw, that means that they potentially had her on a 90-day non-compete. We're gonna find out.
Yeah,
I got to get out of here because I got other things to do. Please plug your stuff. Let's go home.
Well, very quickly, I'll give best match because I have to do that. I did promise that. 10 Statlander and Charlie from Eve. Go out of your way to watch that. Charlie is back, and she looks great. Then also from Eve at number 9, I got Session Moth Martina versus Rio. The main event of Eve is basically an independent wrestling version of WrestleMania 40 or Avengers Endgame. Then also from Eve at number 8, we got Shuri versus Alex Windsor. 7, Death Riders versus Don Callis family from last night's Dynamite. 6, Inamura versus Keno from Noah. Go out of your way to watch that one as well. They beat the hell out of each other. Takeshita and Claudio from Collision. It's number 5. Number 4, FTR and Ciampa versus Dem Bucks from Dynamite. Number 3, Robbie X and Taiji Ishimori versus the Ichiban Sweet Boys from NJPW's anniversary show last Friday. Also from last Friday at number 2, Persephone versus Mercedes, the main event of their all-woman show. But number 1, Kyle Fletcher, Speedball Mike Bailey from last night's Dynamite. Those are the best matches of the last week since last Thursday.
I apologize that we didn't get to everything. I am on a time crunch.
I understand.
Results of our poll question: who should moderate? Well, I just ended it. There we go. Who should moderate press conferences from now on for AEW? Tony Khan, 19%. RJ City, 24%. Brian Danielson, 27%. Renee Paquette, 30%. Those are your answers. You know who he is. You know who I am. I'm very late for my next appointment. Ladies and gentlemen,
Twitter Machine, AE Ramble on True Hill Heat Wrestling Podcast.
There you go. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. Leave a thumbs up on the way out. Ladies and gentlemen, friends beyond the binary. I'll see you in the next one.